We're taking a little holiday from the main show over the next few weeks, but we're not leaving you empty-handed. Over on Patreon, we're dropping some special bonus episodes where I'm joined by Dr Natalie Cawley, an actual clinical psychologist, as we dig into the big themes from past episodes. It's part therapy, part gossip, all good stuff. Go check it out on Patreon if you fancy a deeper dive while we're away. But for now, enjoy this week's free sample to whet your appetite. Plus, if you do become a patron, it really helps us to carry on doing Class Clown, which we'd love to do. And we hope that you'd love to keep listening to it. So enjoy. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at Adam Rowe. I loved talking to Adam. I think when I wanted to do this podcast, I think he was one of the first people that popped into my mind that I wanted on, because I think immediately knowing Adam, I thought that knowing a tiny bit about at least where he came from to where he's got to, I just knew that journey was going to be extraordinary, and I think it was, and I wasn't expecting to find out what we did in that episode, and it was just wonderful how open he was with me, and I have to say I found it really, really emotional. And maybe the day after, I was recounting to someone on the phone something he told me in this episode, particularly about his mum, and the the alcohol abuse, which I think you could call it that. It had me in tears the next day, recounting it. So I really appreciated Adam being as honest as he was, and it was fascinating, and it really struck a chord as well, that episode with the listeners, and there was a lot of feedback. So yeah, really loved it. What kind of stood out for you, do you think?
I felt the same way. Very emotional about some of the very detailed bits about Mom.
Yes.
And how difficult they would have been,
Yes.
seeing them through his lens. Also, he says at one point he feels 1% guilt for his mum and dad's separation. I felt that sat a bit more heavily for him, and I could hear that.
Right.
And then I thought it was interesting how he talked about how he didn't mention on stage a long time about his eye.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah.
He wouldn't kind of acknowledge that. I didn't find it funny.
Yeah.
Yes. The lazy eye, as he called it. We've got a clip here of him talking about that. Let's take a look.
I didn't mention my eye on stage for the first 5 or 6 years of doing stand-up because I couldn't see the funny side of it.
That's amazing, because most stand-ups that will be the first thing they would do.
Yeah.
Is check the thing that everyone in the room has noticed. Whether, I mean, with me, for example, it used to be when I started, I would always open and reference what a state I looked. It would always be the first thing.
Yeah. I just didn't see any humour in it, so maybe it probably bothered me more than I think it did now.
I'm going to assume that he's he didn't find any humour in it because it hurt.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, actually, as a performer.
Yeah.
Because I have friends who are comedians.
Yes.
And they found that if something's unprocessed emotionally, and they, like a breakup, for instance, and they try and talk about it on stage, even though the content's funny, it's almost like the audience picks up on, oh, that's not, and they don't feel they've got permission to laugh. Is that a fair read?
Absolutely. I think that's the perfect read. Yeah. If the audience can feel the rawness of it, and if they can feel that actually there is some real pain there, then of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
Of course it doesn't work. We need to be able to, even if you're laughing at someone's pain, you certainly in the show need to be convinced that they're okay with it, and that we're all laughing at it together.
Yeah. And that's a parallel with being a therapist. They have to believe you're the strongest person in the room, otherwise they can't be fully, authentic and show all the range of emotion.
When you say the strongest person in the room, there's just the two of you. Do you mean that the person, so the patient?
Client? Yeah.
Okay. Needs to feel secure in the knowledge that you are... how did you just put it? Sorry.
Strongest person in the room.
You are stronger than them.
It means you can contain. So you can cope with what I'm about to tell you, and you're not going to fall apart. You're not going to dysregulate. You can take it on board. They have to believe that about you.
Wow. And not be judged?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty key, isn't it? So, and like he says, he didn't find it funny.
Yeah.
He didn't see the humour in it. And then I suppose he didn't want... Kids are laughing at it when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. He now doesn't want them...
Yeah.
It's quite... But I have to say, and I said it there to him, my take from that, as a comedian, is that that's strong. Adam's shown in this chat... You get the sense of Adam anyway from Have a Word, from his stand-up, that there's an armour there, you know, and there is a determination from Adam. He is a strong-minded character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you have to be pretty strong mentally as a comedian to go on stage with something like, as he calls it, the lazy eye, and not flag that to the crowd. That to me, I still wouldn't do that now. I still wouldn't if I got a bit about Skechers because I bought a pair of Skechers and then I'm going, I can't go on stage without a bit on Skechers.
You felt self-conscious about the
Skechers. I'm going to have to reference the Skechers. Yeah. So it's...
Yeah, there's a strength in that then. Yeah, you're right.
I really do think that that's a strength.
Is it a boundary? Is it, okay, we're here, we can poke fun at the fact that I'm chubby, as he says, but actually we can't go there. Is that what it is?
Because that's right, he wouldn't mind going there. I mean, maybe that, that's the boundary, that's where he's drawn the line. See, the way I was looking at it before talking to Adam, I used to call it the wee on the trousers effect.
Okay.
So when I started... I've got these theories that go back to... Really, I've not developed in stand-up since the first year. I came up with all of these ideas about it that I've stuck to. The wee on the trousers effect, which is when a man comes back from the toilets.
Yeah.
If he has had some splashback, bit of dripping on the wee on his trousers,
yeah,
he needs to take control of that. And he needs to make the joke first. He needs to get everyone to laugh at that first before someone could go, oh... bang, and point at it, and then that person gets a laugh, and now they're all laughing at him.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, as I said with the Skechers, Skechers are so bad that I am now comparing them to urine on trousers, that I need to get that laugh in before someone, say, heckles me.
Yes.
With like, what's wrong with your shoes? So that's that's an obvious insecurity of mine, and feeling insecure about me. And Adam has had the kind of strength to not have to flag it. I feel like, actually, that's taken control even more than I was. I thought I'm getting the control by mentioning it first.
Yeah.
But actually, if he doesn't, then yeah, he's decided he's not going to talk about the eye, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And I suppose he's also saying, I can handle any heckle if it does come up. I mean, it
has to be
horrific heckle, but
I'm sure it would be. But I'm sure through the years of training that life has given him and the playground has given him, like he talks about, I'm sure he would have absolutely had some ammo there that he would have kind of, in want of a better phrase, shot back with.
Yes, yeah,
yeah. Okay, and can I ask you? I mean, you work with young people, and so you see, let's call it what it is. It's bullying.
Yeah,
absolutely. On any level, that is bullying. You must see the effects of that on young people, and what Can you give us a sense of what it really does to a person?
Yeah, it's massive at this point in life where they're building their self-concept and their brain's specialising. To get these negative...
What specialising mean? Just developing?
Yeah, so it goes through stages of pruning the brain at about, I think it's age 7, and then in early adolescence.
Okay.
So it's environmentally mediated, so it responds to the environment, how your brain forms. So
I've never heard about this. That's amazing.
So if you're getting these negative messages, internalising them, it's literally having an impact on
Oh my God. Yes. Wow, that's given me something to think about on the way home.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I interrupted you though. So
yeah.
you were saying that the bullying is having an effect on your brain is specialising.
Yeah.
As you put it.
So it's on every level. It's emotional, physical potentially, and neurobiological.
And does it stay with you, generally speaking, of course? The impact of bullying generally stay with people, into adulthood and...
I think so. In clients and also myself, I feel like you can literally be transported back to that moment and feel that hot shame that you felt in the moment. Can you think of?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. There's what I mean. There's what. I'm now. This is therapy now. You're going to have to be Dr. Cawley. Well, the one that comes to mind always, and by the way, I'm actually fine with this now, but we're talking easily over a decade, this affected me.
Oh, wow.
Easily.
Wow.
But I actually don't mind anymore. One day, a girl at secondary school, I had never thought about, I was very insecure about how I looked, but this one, for some reason, wasn't an issue. And she screamed at me, she just said I had a big nose. She said something about my nose, and I'd never, ever given it a second's thought. I could draw you where I was. I could draw you where I was looking, where she was. The feeling of just... the image I'm getting is actually not from a film, from a computer game. When a computer character is hurt, when I used to play computer games, when they were suddenly hurt, they would kind of flash red.
Yeah.
They get hit and then they would flash red for a bit. I mean, it was just, what the fuck? My nose as well. Oh God, what do I look like? and it just made me so self-conscious, and I would... God knows what these kids today are going through with social media, but I would look back at, I had a mirror in my bedroom, and I would be looking at what I looked like from every angle to see like what was wrong with my nose and my profile and my face, and it was absolutely horrific.
Did that feeling come back to you then, in your nervous system?
Yes. Like I say, that took a long time for me to kind of feel comfortable with.
We all have heightened self-consciousness at that age, but we have an idea of what it might be. So for somebody to say something you'd never considered almost makes you feel like, well, what else?
Totally.
It could be, I'm not prepared.
I'm going to have a look at my elbows. I've got awful elbows. God, my knuckles are. Exactly that. Now it's coming back. I remember. Wow. And it's funny because I don't feel like this anymore. I would do this to myself now. But when I was an adolescent, I remember wanting to make enough money that I could get a nose job. I remember just wanting to be, to I could fix my face. But just because of that one. She's not even...
I know.
She's never thought of that ever again. No. And now I'm thinking about getting a fucking nose job.
That's the impact.
And that's the impact. And I'm sure, and I don't enjoy, I hate that I could have done this, but I'm sure I've done that to someone else at school. I hate that. But
we all would have done at that age.
You just don't realise the impact that you had. What did you think was wrong with your face? No, no, but yes, that's it. That's incredible. That's incredible to hear the impact that it has. Do you have any good ways, do you think, to deal with that? I'd say I don't. Just from me speaking about myself there, I think it just went over time, so I can't give any myself.
What I say to young people now is, they've said something and you've internalized it, so you're like carrying it around with a little backpack on your back.
Yes.
The problem isn't what they say, it's what you take on. So it's about trying to give them some sort of boundary or defense against taking that inward.
Yes.
Which is, easier said than done. But
absolutely. And again, like we kind of hinted at in the social media age.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't grow up in that.
You must be hearing some things that are. Does it make it difficult? It's slightly gone off topic from Adam, but just humour me, I suppose. Is it difficult if you're speaking to young people? It almost feels where I'm standing from, that they're from a different world.
Yeah.
You're talking about a kind of a future virtual reality that they're living in, that you're not from. Mm-hmm. Does that make your job harder, that you've kind of got to understand the new world, that in the same way that most people don't have to? We can read about it, but we can move forward. You've got to engage with this world.
Sometimes they say sentences and I don't know any of the words in it.
Are you sure you've gone to the right country?
I'm trying to be like, down with them. And they're just like, you don't even... So yeah, it is hard. And I work in an environment where we can attempt to limit some things for some young people because they're struggling.
How do you mean limit? The phone, like use of phones?
Like access to, say, Snapchat, if they're risk of... there are vulnerability risks to outsiders contacting them and things. So we can sort of police that a little bit within those environments. But as a parent, I don't know what you would do. There's disappearing messages. There's all these different apps that they can be contacted on or coerced or manipulated. It's just an absolute minefield.
I know. I'm very, very relieved that I'm not part of that.
Yet.
Jenna, what with
with
my kids? Yes. Yeah. No, I know. I'm terrified of that fact. All right. Well, we're going to look at the next clip. This is Adam talking about the relationship with his mum, which obviously was a huge kind of component of this interview. Mm-hmm. And let's have a look. Hello, everyone. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty obvious that the producers had to remind me last minute to record this, as I keep on forgetting. But basically I'm here to say that I hope you enjoyed the snippet we gave you of our Patreon episode. If you can sign up to the Patreon at patreon.com/classclown, it's a way of supporting the podcast. But we thought hard about what would make it worthwhile for you to do that. And what we thought would be a nice idea is for myself and an actual therapist, Dr Natalie Cawley, to kind of go over the episodes and go off their main themes and find out a little bit about the topics that we've discussed in the episode. I probably talk a lot more in these Patreon episodes than I do in the actual podcast themselves. Maybe that's actually off-putting, but we'll see. As I say, it's a way of supporting the pod to keep it going. It's you can help us at patreon.com/classclown or just tap the link in the description. Dr Natalie Cawley in the episodes is fantastic and gives us a real insight into the things that we discuss in the episode. And I had a lot of fun doing them, and I hope you like them. I think it's a really interesting thing we've done. I don't think it's being done elsewhere. Now someone has shown me that it is, but I really hope you enjoy it. I think it's a great extension of what Class Clown is, and we just really want to keep it going. We were in the top 10 on Apple and Spotify, which was amazing, and really we have to keep that going to keep the podcast going. But the feedback has been absolutely wonderful, and I'm glad you've enjoyed it. You've all enjoyed it so much, and you've been very nice about my interview techniques that I didn't know I had. A couple of people have said that I've really found my niche and my voice. And isn't it amazing that doing stand-up for 20 years, you find after all that time, you find out that what you're good at is listening. What a great quality for a stand-up comedian to have. What's your main attribute? I listen good. But no, it's all greatly appreciated. That's enough from me. Lots of love. Ta-da, bye.